So here's an interesting question for you. What is magic for, and why use it? So, I came up with this question because some people are, they question what magic is, and when, if you try to explain it to them, sometimes people don't get it, or they think that it's, a changing of just your thought patterns or your mind, and I mean that's part of it, according to my understanding of it and the way that I use it. But you know, if like, why bother using magic? So, in terms of this whole discussion, I thought I'd start off with, you know, well, what is magic really? And what I like to go with is, Crowley's idea of magic is it's the science and art of changing reality in accordance with will. And so, let's dissect that for a second. What does that mean? Well, that's whatever your desire is, you change reality to match that your desire. It's manifesting the things that you want, it's eliminating the things that you don't. It's changing what's inside of you and what's outside of you because you want it changed that way. So let's dissect this a little bit. In terms of like psychology wise, when we focus on something, like if we focus on something through whether it's positive thoughts or negative thoughts, your brain, which tries to be as efficient as possible as a energy intensive organ, will tends to have like a selective attention or a focus on interpreting information according to what your thoughts are. So, it's the same thing with people. Like, if somebody's always in a bad mood, or if they wake up on the wrong side of the bed, their entire day is going to be junk just because they already started off with negative thoughts. Or the people that are really positive, they seem to always have things that just roll right off of them and nothing really bothers them. Why? Because it's part of their attitude. So, let me step onto another topic of a conversation here. So, in terms of magic being creating, changing reality in accordance with will, what we're talking about is playing around with the energy of the universe. I know that, like, for example, this laptop that I'm using for my video is a physical thing. The pool table it's sitting on is a physical thing. Everything back there, yeah, is a physical thing. But if you follow like quantum mechanics and such, and you go down to the deep, super deep levels, and I'm talking, you got you got solid objects, then they're made up of molecules, which are made up of atoms, which are made up of electrons, protons, and neutrons, which are made up of quarks. Which, if you go even deeper than that, they're everything is just energetic strings. And even the space in between a bunch of different atoms and stuff is super vast. So we're really, one, mostly empty space, and two, at the very basic level, we are strings of energy. So everything physical, everything solid, is really energy. So let's dive more into the quantum mechanics here. So you have what I think is termed the measurement problem, where they did. Anybody ever heard of the what is it? The slit experiment, where they shined light through a they shine light at like these metal plates that had a slit in the middle, meant to angle the light in two different directions. And what they found out was that the light behaves differently, and it's both a particle and a wave, which I should step into in a second. But things behave differently when they are observed than when they are not observed. Now, what does that mean? That means that our perception of them, our perception of the reality, changes it whether it's being looked at or not. Now, thoughts changing reality. Okay, let's step into something else here. So then we also have the idea of they took two atoms and they grouped them together, right? And then they spread them super far apart, and they manipulated one, and it affected the other one that was super far away. So, given that, when two things are connected, or they form a relationship, and then you spread them apart, what happens if you have an effect on one thing? It can change something else, no matter how far the distance. So let's take that a step, well, back in time, okay? When, theoretically, before the Big Bang, everything was just a singularity. All matter and everything was smashed into a super tight, super dense space, right? Now, that would mean that everything around us once shared a closed space, and therefore everything shared a relationship with everything else. Given that experiment where they split two, I think it was either atoms or particles, and they manipulated one, and then it showed an effect on the other, tying that into the Big Bang and the singularity, and how everything is spread apart now. The idea is that I can change something miles, hundreds of miles away by manipulating something here, because the idea is that everything was once connected, and if we manipulate one thing here, it can change something super far away somewhere else, and that really plays into the like attracts like, and the law of similarities, like attracts like, and sympathetic magic. That's the point I was trying to get to. So I might have gone off on a little bit of a tangent here, but thought I'd give some basis for magic first. So why use it? I think that magic can be used for and can be whatever the person or the user wants it to be, right? If you want to use magic to obtain a better life, if you want to use magic to obtain a job, or to, you know, change something in your outer world, or change something in your inner world. My next book that a little hint on my next book, I don't know when I'm going to start this one or when it's going to come out, but if you want magic to heal something like trauma or addiction, it can do that. If you want magic to explore your own inner realms and your subconscious, or see how far your mind can stretch, or explore other realms of reality, it can do that. Some people are like, no, I can't do that, or I don't believe in that stuff. Well, the idea is that we are energy, right? We are energy. Our thoughts are energy, and therefore, due to everything I explained before with law of similarities, now everything was connected and everything, what I think about can change something out here, because it's the energy manipulating other things, which is why I think magic is possible. I mean, think about it. They even have studies on how prayer, like praying for a sick person in the hospital, actually shows a statistical difference in that other person, in the patient's recovery in a lot of circumstances. Same thing with one's outlook on their own health. The more positive you are about it, the more likely you are to be healthy and stuff. So, we're bouncing all over the place with this one, but hopefully it's all food for thought and whatnot for you guys. So I did ask a couple of my buddies in a group on what magic is used for. One of them did say self-actualization, and if you follow psychology and you know about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that would be, you know, basically obtaining everything that you need at a basic level, from like food and shelter to connection with other people to a meaning and a purpose, and other things like that. Basically having all of your ducks in a row, so you are able to work on advancing yourself. Because if you're living this life and you're just, going day by day, up, work, home, TV, bed, and you're not learning anything, and you're not advancing yourself, and you're not working on new skills and stuff, for one thing, your brain is going to age faster. And another thing, kind of like you're just spinning your wheels and wasting your time. And magic can really be used as a way of growing your potential for what you want to do or what you want to have, and it could be a pushing force to constantly improve yourself. Magic can be used as a way of giving you extra fuel and extra support through the entities and whatever you work with to getting other stuff done. It's one way to psych yourself up of, yes, I can do this, but it's another thing to go through a whole ritual and or work with different entities or spirits or things, and basically have a team, I guess you could say, that's got their energy pushing you towards your goal. It's a way of setting all that energy up in your both in your mind, in your energetic field, in everything around you, and connecting where you are to what you want. So magic can be used for whatever the user wants to do with it, whether it be positive or negative means. And that's why magic really doesn't have a color, it's all about intention. But magic can be a very, very fun and interesting thing, and I think it's one of those things that we are never going to truly understand, like, why exactly we have the ability to use it, but the point is that we have it, and we can use it either for good or bad. It makes me kind of think about the magicians and stuff, because in the books, the the powers that be give give magic, and then it's a way of keeping humans in check, if I remember right. And that's kind of an interesting thing to think about, because it it's you're given a certain set of tools, and you can do positive with them, you can do negative with them, or you could do nothing with them. I mean, aside from just working at something, hoping that you want it or whatever, going at, a comfortable speed limit, magic ups the ante and helps to create a roadmap and guide you to what you want, rather than just putting like half effort. If you're on the highway and you're going the minimum speed of 40, you're eventually going to get there. Or if you have a general idea of where you're going, you're eventually going to get there. But magic allows you to like hit the gas pedal a little bit harder, go the speed limit, and have concrete directions or a roadmap to get there. And now that I'm talking about all this stuff, it does seem very similar to motivational things, like getting all your ducks in a row and staying diligent and persistent. But that's all physical, mundane stuff where it's mindset and everything. Magic is more of a, I want to say, spiritual component, because you feel that support and that energy coming from somewhere else other than here, and other than within you. It's coming from some deeper place within you, and some other undefined source, which can be defined by the individual practitioner, that allows you to get what you want out of reality. Yeah. So I know I talked a lot about, a whole host of different things, but I wanted to give a little bit of a structure to it, of, not only why we use it, but kind of where it comes from. And, my books definitely do talk about a couple of those things more in depth that I talked about in this video, particularly magical mechanics and magical theater. So, let me know what you guys think about all this stuff. And questions, comments, complaints, concerns, issues, you can drop them in the comments, or even email me. You can find my email at the end of this video. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching my video. So if you want to check out my playlists, I have, among others, the Simon Necronomicon, the Tree of Life, General Magic, Tulpamancy, a playlist on my books, the elements, stones, the theories that govern magic, and the gods and goddesses of Mesopotamia. If you want to check out my books on Amazon, I have Creating Consciousness, Magical Mechanics, Magical Theater, Handy Sigil Magic, and The Guide to the Spheres and Beyond. You can also find me on Facebook at Magickology YT. You can email me at priestofthenecro@gmail.com, and you can even check out my Instagram, which is Magickology. And good hunting.